What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Small Property Layouts and the Session Podcast. I'm Karl. If you guys have been following us this year, I know that we've been doing a lot of property enhancements and things to Mike's property and my property. Mike's currently up at his place right now, actually replanting corn. It's currently June 23rd here in southern Wisconsin. And we are in the biggest drought we've had since 2012. We're behind almost 4.5 inches in this particular property where I'm at right now, southwestern Wisconsin. It's in a serious drought is what they're telling us. So that being said, I'm going to show you guys a little bit here what our cornfields look like. You can see I've got the disc with me, so we're going to actually probably be disking up what's there currently. Two particular reasons. Number one, the deer are actually eating the corn right down to the ground, and some of the corn hasn't come up just due to the drought part of it. We have rain in the forecast, over an inch of rain coming starting tomorrow afternoon, which will be the 24th, a Saturday in June. We're supposed to get rain Saturday night, Sunday all day, and Monday morning. And then we're actually supposed to get rain next week also, so hopefully we're going to start to get into a rotation here where we're actually going to be able to get some moisture here in southern Wisconsin. That being said, we appreciate you guys watching us, answering all the questions you guys have given. It was awfully fun to us also for our podcast. We've got podcasts happening, maybe driving by. We got podcasts happening every Saturday. We appreciate you guys watching those, checking them out on YouTube. Also, you guys can listen on Apple, Amazon, Google, iHeart, and Spotify podcasts, also at rss.com. If you want to subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, like what you see, just hit the Reaper in the lower right-hand corner. We appreciate that. I'm going to get this out. Looks like it's coming now. And we'll take you guys up, show you what the plots look like, and why we're actually going to try and put more corn in here. I'm going to disc the top 2 inches, and then we're going to throw seed on it, and I'm going to disc that in again with the same setting on the disc, just to kind of seat the seed. Hopefully the moisture we have coming will take care of any growth we need, germination. Also, we'll check out our switchgrass, see where we're at on that.
All right, guys.
Thanks for watching. We'll show you guys what's going on. Here's what we got going on. Apparently, for some reason this year, the deer want to eat my corn. And I mean all of it. So, tell you what we're going to do. Here's the plan. So I'm putting buckwheat in. Like I said, it's towards the end of June. It's actually the 23rd of June currently. And in this particular layout, this plot itself is a couple hundred yards long. Plan was, or is, to have corn on the top half here, basically the first 20 yards. And then there'll be about a 20-yard strip of, we're going to put buckwheat in because we use a no-till program. We'll talk about that in a second. And then below that, and I'll show you guys here on a pan shot, we have a clover field. There's actually a stand straight to the north here and some box elders surrounded by some buckthorn that's in front of that. The stand allows you to be right up above the box, or above the buckthorn in the box elder. It'll be easy in, easy out. Level 2 on my property when we talk about levels, if you guys have been watching. And this is the highest we're going to go this year with food. So if I put the buckwheat in, and a large amount of it, the plan basically is laying that buckwheat in here. We're going to put the seed down. The buckwheat will start to come up. Hopefully the deer will start to feed on the buckwheat a little bit. There'll be enough of that to sustain the number of deer that are currently in the area, and they'll stop picking on my corn. There's also beans mixed in with the corn. Looks like a few of them are starting to come up, but you know how beans are with deer. Deer love beans. So we are gonna probably try to make sure they eat a little bit of this buckwheat here. And then of course we're using the buckwheat. We're 6 weeks out from August, and that'll give us hopefully a growth right around my waist height. Last year we were 7 weeks out. when we planted the buckwheat, and I got a little bit high. Still ended up having a good food plot by just seeding in using a no-till program, basically seeding our brassica mix into that buckwheat, then bending the buckwheat over the top and then killing it with glyphosate. We're going to do the same thing again this year. That means there'll be corn and beans, brassica, and then the clover in the kill plot. So we will see how it goes. You can also shoot out to the brassicas here. I'm going to split the brassicas up. I'm going to run brassicas for about the first, about 80, 90 yards here. Then we're going to end up putting winter wheat in this year also. Maybe a little bit of oats with that. And then we'll run more brassica on the far end where we plan on having another tree stand location. That's just to give us a couple options depending on wind direction here on this particular plot. That being said, the corn that's here, the far west side looks pretty good. I'm going to leave that. This particular area right in here, I'm actually going to broadcast corn in it. We're going to disc everything first. As you can see, there's quite a bit of corn stalks from last year. So I'm going to disc this up again a little bit, and then I'm going to broadcast my corn, and I'm going to disc that in also. And we're going to get what we get. Hopefully the deer don't eat too much of it. It seems kind of sparse in here. I'll review it again one more time. I want to walk the whole distance and see if there's a couple spots that I just want to leave. But right now we're at total failure, most of it due to the drought, I believe. Everybody's dealing with it here in Wisconsin. The other thing, I'm starting to hear rumors or talk about EHD here in southern Wisconsin, which somewhat worries me. I'm fortunate enough on my particular property and in this area that we have running water, so we have a creek that runs down through my property at level 1. We don't have standing water or anywhere where we're going to end up having the mud dry out and get that midge for EHD, so we are trying to prevent that 100%. I'm also going to go up to the next, what was food plots last year. We're going to check our switchgrass. We may end up mowing that here, not this weekend, but next weekend. It looks pretty good from here right now, but we'll see what we get. Hopefully this rain will actually help some of the other switchgrass actually come up. Guys that have put switchgrass in earlier this year, like early June or late April, are having the same problem where everybody's thinking that your switchgrass isn't going to grow. There's something wrong with the seed. You gotta wait, guys. You gotta just give it its time. Switchgrass is real finicky. It needs either a lot of water or warm and cold for stratification. Even if you do have soft seed, you got to give it its chance. So make sure you do that if you got switchgrass in. So that being said, I'm gonna do a little walk around here, see what we got for corn. I'll make that decision on how much I'm actually going to broadcast in here, and then we'll disc it up. We'll show you guys that part of it. But I think I'm just disking this particular area. Everything else is looking fairly decent. I'm going to leave that, and we're going to watch for the beans too. So hopefully we'll be able to salvage it. If not, we're getting winter rye out too.
What's up, everybody? Mike Stadler here with the Obsession Podcast, Small Property Layouts. We're at my property here, the BMR in central Wisconsin. It is June 24th today, 90 degrees. It is hotter than the face of the sun has been this last week. Major drought here in Wisconsin. I actually just replanted my corn again 2 nights ago. We got rain coming in tonight, tomorrow, Monday, couple times next week. So hopefully that gets going. So we're behind schedule again here. This is a plot up here you saw back this last fall late. This is my campsite plot, we call it. We opened this up bigger. Karl and I were up here with Tom running the equipment. Probably made this plot 4 times the size it was. Made blocks up all around it. There's really 4 entrances in it. Added 2 more stand locations. 1 directly behind the camera, 1 to the far end of me, and then we got 1 off of here to my left that's always been here. So anyway, this is on top of my ridge. We're going to get in here today. I'm going to till this up, and then I got a seed drill that I bought last year. We're going to really give that a test run right now and plant our buckwheat in here. Give us about 6 weeks of that buckwheat and then knock that down, and this is going to be a brassica plot. So I sprayed this off 3 days ago. It's all starting to die off now, so we're going to till it up, pull the rocks and all the junk out of here, get this thing buckwheated, and hopefully that rain comes. Stick around, check us out. So here we are. We gave it a light till, and you could see how dry it was. It was just like it was on fire when I was tilling. I probably only gave it 3 inches, maybe 4 at most. So we went around, picked all the rocks out, as you could hear that. Went all around, cleaned that up. So we're going to try that seed drill now. I mean, it's super dry, so really we don't know what's going to happen. Going to get it all seed drilled in. Hopefully that thing works good. Get that rain on here, and we're going to hopefully show you this start to finish. So here's the seed drill that we bought. We set the seeding drop basically. So this is the first time I've used this, so hopefully this is going to go right. Just dropped it. We're going to drag it. We filled this up, the bin up here. Going to make a couple passes and check it, see what happens. Drilling it right into the ground.
Alright guys, well we got that disc in here. Oh, disc in. We got that seeded in, so we'll see what happens. We're going to run the disc over it. Everything to the south, which is uphill here. These yellow flags for corn. We're going to put or redo all this, and hopefully it'll work out. Somewhat worried about doing it, to be honest with you guys, but we got to try something. Man, I've never had deer eat corn down like this. This is just crazy. I don't know why either, but there's clover plots. Well, this one's really young, but to the west of us there's a clover plot that's long and lush. Down below, long and lush. Neighbor's got corn that I let them plant in the bottom here. plenty of food. But I think what happens is the does have the fawns right here in the goldenrod and in these pines, and it's just easy access for them. It's kind of what we wanted. We want to keep our does and fawns close, let our bucks bed up the ridge from here. We're gonna put cameras out here in the next couple weeks. We'll show you guys that. But moving on, next one. And there you go. It is what it is. We'll see what we get. And if not, if we don't have a stand like we want to have, I think we're just going to end up putting winter rye in here, you know, to help seed over. We'll see how it goes. I'm just having a hard time believing we've got that many deer in here that they're eating all this corn completely down. There's no summer food except for that one clover plot, so 2 clover plots. One down to the west here about 300 yards, and then one down on level 1, which is really small also. I don't know. If we do, we got way too many antlerless deer. Cameras will show here shortly. Neighbor says we got quite a few. We may have to take a bunch out here at the beginning of the season, so be sure to watch for the hunt. Alright guys, here's the plan for the buckwheat, and I'll show you this tree stand location, which is right in these box elder trees right there. If you look, there's kind of an opening just above the buckthorn height. That is where the stand is located, which is nice and tucked in. We noticed when I was in another box elder further down where I shot my first buck on the property, really nice heavy 9-pointer, that they were picking us out. We had to trim some stuff up. They ended up picking us out over the last couple of years. Last year I actually had Gladiator 250 yards up the ridge from me, and he's seen something in that tree he did not like. I'm sure it was me, obviously. But he stayed up there and never did come down and present a shot. I'll show you guys a picture of him or video of him. But did a pan shot down here. You guys can see where some of the foxtail and stuff has come up in the area, but you also see where the clover is right behind me. There's 2 types of clovers in there. There's actually there's 4 types of clovers in there. A clover mix that I make myself. It's 4 different types of clover, including white clover, Alcites, and then it's got a couple other types of clover that we're testing. And then one side is complete white clover. And what I'm trying to do there is just kind of see if the deer like one more than the other. It's also telling me whether or not I should add more white clover to our mix when we do decide to come out with it. Mike and I are talking about it. We'll see what happens with that. But this whole area where there isn't pink flags or where the clover isn't is going to be brassicas this year. So I'm going to take my buckwheat, I'm going to seed the buckwheat in out straight away from where all the pink flags are, facing towards the corn area here. And we're going to run right along the corn edge of the yellow flags that you guys seen in the pan shot. And all of that's going to be brassica, no-till program that we do, which is also Jeff Sturgis's program. We put buckwheat in. We've got 6 weeks of growth this year. Last year I did 7 weeks of growth, and it was up to almost my shoulders in spots, which was too high. We still did get a pretty good brassica stand in that, being that tall, but I think some of it did get choked out just due to the thickness and the height of the buckwheat. To do that, we put the brassicas in, we seed the brassicas in. We're looking for about 3.5, 4 feet of height at the most. And we will seed the brassicas in, the bigger seed settles. We use our cultipacker, we run that over, we crimp that over, and then I come through with the sprayer and terminate with glyphosate. All the moisture helps the seed germinate, the shade helps the seed germinate. Hopefully by that time of year we'll have a little more moisture, and the brassicas should come up nice. That being said, I did use plot start on all this stuff you're seeing us work on today. Hopefully that's going to actually help. We'll see how that goes. We'll continue to run that product throughout our properties. I think it works really well, so we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, I'm going to put the buckwheat in now, and we'll come through tomorrow with glyphosate. I'll show you guys that. I'll bring my sprayer down, open up the booms, and we will terminate all the foxtail and broadleaf that are starting in here, and leave the clover alone. Terminate all the rye that's on the other side. So allergies are kicking in a little bit. Stick around. The buckwheat planting is complete. We're going to take you guys up, show you where we had planted some switchgrass, see what we got going on up there, see how much longer we think we're going to have to wait for that. The lower level here across level 2, I put about 10 yards of switchgrass on the downhill side. Looks like it's starting to come up fairly decent. We're going to keep that mowed this year, and not expecting a ton of growth. I will mow everything here, probably second week of July, and that will be that, and we'll let the switch come up. But I'm going to show you guys the switch up above. We actually put 4 used to be food plots in the solid switchgrass this year, creating diversity pockets. There's also some flowers, some prairie flowers and stuff inside of that for like a smaller habitat pocket to help deer kind of hang out and browse in those areas. They seem to not want to just camp out and switchgrass completely. But there's also plenty of successional growth. You guys can see that on the hillside, goldenrod, ragweed, stuff such as that. Hopefully, with this rain coming, we'll get a little more growth out of there. I like to see that stuff about 4 feet tall. And the does will keep the fawns in it, lay right down in it, and not move, which will hold them down closer to the food, which will leave depth of cover for our bucks, which is what we lacked last year because we put those plots in and lost depth of cover on the property, which was a bad move for us. So we are changing it back. It might take 2 years, so stick around. We'll see what happens, and learn from your mistakes and learn from my mistakes, and hopefully you guys will have a better hunt. What's going on, guys? Looks like we got everything done. We got our buckwheat in, we did our corn, dissed our corn in. That's kind of an experiment. Hopefully we'll be able to salvage that. Hopefully that'll work out. Clover's looking pretty decent. This rain that's coming here in the next couple days is greatly needed. Like I said, we've got, so you guys what the soil looks like here. We're about 4 inches behind, and you guys can see how dry and nasty that is. You dig down in there, you go 5 or 6 inches in, and it's still dry like that. So we're under a heavy drought here in southern Wisconsin. This rain will help. Hopefully we'll be able to salvage our plots and have a good stand for hunting this year. Otherwise, come September, we can always use winter rye, put rye in. Hopefully in August we'll be able to get our no-till system in, our brassicas, and our winter wheat that we're going to put in this year. Like I said, with the buckwheat, we should be planting here the end of, or the beginning of August. We're about 6 weeks out from that right now, so hopefully we'll get about, I'd say between 3 and 4 foot stand of buckwheat. We put it in pretty heavy. I used about 85 pounds over 1.5 acres to 2 acres, I guess. So we'll see how that works out. But stick around for that. We appreciate you guys watching The Obsession. We also appreciate you guys listening to the podcast, also checking out Small Property Layouts. If you get a chance, subscribe right down here in the right-hand corner. We appreciate each and one of you. If you got a question you want to ask for the podcast, feel free to put your question right here in the comments. We'll answer that on one of the podcasts coming up. So stick around. Remember, every Saturday we have a new podcast comes out right here on YouTube. Rush Outdoors, Wisconsin. Like and share. We appreciate it.